3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone-stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Grok Talk.
We are Grok Talk, brought to you by GraniteGrok.com and the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. Check them out at cnht.org to see how they help municipalities and taxpayers interface in a as unhostile now. Well, it depends on what's going on. Check out the voter fraud stuff. Great stuff. Probably going on in your town, probably going on in your city, probably going on in your state.
And Ed is hooked into the group that just found out that in 141 counties across this nation, there are more people registered to vote in each and every one of those 141 counties than there are people alive in that county. So, tell me, is there voter fraud?
There's
Do we
voter
see?
fraud.
No. There's no voter fraud in New Hampshire.
No.
The Democrats say so.
That's true. Must be true.
And you're saying that with a straight face.
Thanks again to Jorge.
No, there's no vote fraud. There's no vote fraud. They'll tell you there's no vote fraud.
Well, there's no videos.
We have a lot of anecdotal evidence that says otherwise, but that's administrative. That's not voter fraud.
Right.
That's administrative snafus.
Just like there's no videos of Planned Parenthood either.
Right. Yeah, those were rigged.
Those were staged like the moon landing.
Yep. They're creative editors. Everybody's lying except them.
Yeah, this is what we've heard ever since James O'Keefe started doing this, that they always yell at the short form ones, and then he always, a couple days later, puts out the full forms.
Yep.
And Planned Parenthood really thinks that it's going to discredit them. And by the way, I haven't put it up yet, but James O'Keefe now has video of Hillary's campaign.
Oh, that ought to be
I got to
good.
put that up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's most excellent.
But we're not here to talk about that.
No.
We're here to talk about hoplophobes and NRA
Homophobes.
stickers. And,
Yes.
And
a hoplophobe is, Rick, for those who don't know the long words?
So a hoplophobe, hoplo being the Greek word for weapon, phobe being fear. It's a person that has an irrational and unfounded fear of guns or firearms or weapons for that matter.
And you had a great post about one who is exactly that. Who, by the way, since I went searching last night, has taken down his site.
He has. He's taken it completely down. And that's a shame, too, because, first I want to say about this blog, he's a writer for a newspaper, some of these not so big but bigger type newspapers, sports writer, I guess. And he put out this rant, and, just to give you a sampling of what he wrote, he basically stated, he makes a lot of assertions he says, by displaying that NRA decal on the rear window of your car, you're endorsing violent death.
Well, they're not assertions, Rick. They're assumptions.
No, they're assertions because they're not based in fact, and it's born out of emotion. Definitely an assertion.
He's making assertions, but he's also making assumptions about the person with the sticker, and we all know what assume does.
Right. Well, I'm reading the blog, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's not even worth my time and effort. But first, before I go on, I want to congratulate the city of Concord, New Hampshire. Bravo! Bravo! I mean, you now match South Boston with parking and construction issues. Congratulations. What a feat, what an honor. So anyways, back to the subject.
And making it impossible to park in front of our studio because now they've got 2-hour restrictions anytime of the day or
but
week.
It's pretty.
I parked two blocks away. What are all these people doing here on a Saturday morning? What the hell are they doing? What is there? Everything's closed. What are you doing? You just coming around? Oh, I'm going to walk around. Okay, whatever. I don't get it. I mean, when you can beat Match Vegas on parking issues, you have arrived. Definitely arrived.
That's true.
So, Viva Manch Vegas, they've actually gotten their parking issues well under control. You go to the Verizon Wireless Arena, you have some major player there.
Yeah.
There's actually enough parking.
Yep.
But, I mean, they don't have anything like that up here, and their parking sucks. What's up with that? You know?
Well, once again, we're seeing another phase of urban planners, such as Concord is urban.
The apparatchik.
Yeah, deciding what is going to be best. And,
Right.
you know, every single time they do this, they go after 20 years and going, well, that didn't work out too well, did it? You know, and here in the age of...
Give us another couple $1 million and we'll screw it up again.
Yeah.
Well,
Different from the last time we screwed it
You'll
up.
notice that the actual productive shops have moved to side streets and back streets where people can still get to them, and the yuppie, worthless shops like vapor salons
Yes.
that are now on the front row where nobody will be able to get to them either because of the parking. So
Right.
with a bit of luck, the right people will go out of business.
And how many plastic cut flower shops do you really need in downtown, Concord? Yeah, seriously.
But anyways, back to the hoplophobe.
Back to the hoplophobe. You know, I looked at this blog, and I was one of the ones that got the early on, when the...
And you show up in Google, by the way.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So that's even better, So basically you have this blog out there, right? And I showed up at a point where it was still up and the comments were up, and I read the blog and I went, ooh, got to read the comments, So I scrolled down, and he was taking some pretty good abuse from it,
Did you happen to screen capture that?
No, I didn't. Because, again, I was at the point where I'm going, why am I wasting my time on this? But then as I scrolled down through the comments, I saw a state legislature show up and start saying things like, I feel your pain, and I went, uh-oh, okay, it just got real. So I actually copied the blog. And here's the thing, too. On Facebook, I actually contacted the author, and we had a conversation back and forth.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'm careful to do in a circumstance like that is to be absolutely polite. And I said, I read your blog about, NRA members that have their stickers being a threat. I need you to bear in mind, you're probably talking about one of your family members, one of your relatives.
Yeah, and you said that in your post.
I did. And I said, also, you're talking about yourself, because a lot of the people that have these stickers are just like you. There's not much different about them than you. They're just like you. They have families and mortgages. I also said that in the post. But, he talks about, he tries to be, it's not a rational blog. It all comes from viscera, from within. It's not grounded in fact. Like, I'll give you a quote. I see the NRA decal on the rear window of my car, and my eyes narrow. I look at the back of your head in the driver's seat, and I wonder if you are a threat. A threat to my children, a threat to me, a threat to society. Really? That's charlatanry.
This guy doesn't even rise to the level of being a beta male.
Does he know a lot of cops are trained by the NRA?
Well, yeah, NRA has the largest law enforcement training.
The people who he empowers to be weaponized and to defend his son and his family are NRA members.
NRA is the largest provider of law enforcement training. They are also the largest provider of grants and funding. 501c3, the NRA Foundation, to do things like build ranges, do Eddie Eagle gun education programs. The Eddie Eagle program is it hasn't grabbed on around here, but it's very popular in the Midwest. And it's a program, it doesn't involve guns at all. It's what do you do, kids, if you see a gun? Go tell somebody, don't touch it, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And just for our listeners, we here are all NRA members, except I got to renew my membership.
I'm a life member.
Yeah. So, maybe I should do that so I don't have to remember any of it.
You should.
Yeah.
There you go.
But anyways,
do they still send you the mail?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, they don't send me mail anymore because, in the interest of disclosure, I'm the chairman of the Friends of NRA that funds the NRA Foundation in Rockingham County. I'm an NRA certified club leader. I'm an NRA certified pistol instructor, firearms instructor. So they said, he's doing enough. Let's stop sending him mail. So they don't send me a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But, and when you read stuff like this, you go, this is definitely a person who has decided to outsource his own personal responsibility to somebody else. And even worse, from my viewpoint of what a father and husband should be, has outsourced the responsibility of his family to some faceless bureaucrat who happens to work in government.
Well, here's what I responded to him with that. A threat to my children, threat to me, a threat to society. I have a picture of Gilda Radner you remember when she was on Saturday Night Live doing the monsters in the closet thing? Mm-hmm. Well, remember when you were a kid and you got scared because you thought monsters were hiding in the closet or under your bed? I remember when I was a kid, I sometimes slept in my bed with my knees cocked up in my abdomen because I feared snakes in my bed. This is the adult version of those fears. Some anxieties never change, only the things we are anxious about. Zoloft is now commonly prescribed for this. So that was my response to him, And, he talks about, the NRA. He says, I see a news report about the latest shooting deaths in the United States. I brace myself for the NRA talking points on social media. I try not to read them. I fail at that. I am appalled, saddened, and sickened. Not just sickened, but appalled and saddened, and angry. I am reminded why I consider you a potential threat. Well, here's the thing. Ironically, the NRA doesn't come out with talking points, and they don't have press conferences in the wake of these shooting tragedies. They're actually quite silent, But how do you come out as responsive? Because NRA speaks only when such solipsism, favorite word of the day, begins to gravitate to the policy forum. Yet when the NRA is silent, the charlatans and hoplophobes line up to call out the NRA on their silence. And then when they speak, they seethe, hiss, contempt upon every word spoken. That tells you everything you need to know right there.
This is probably the most egregious viewpoint that I see, is that anybody who has a gun is automatically to be branded a criminal, is automatically to be branded medically unworthy, who is already judged to be mentally incompetent. Of course, they say that about just being a plain conservative anyways. But you see this mentality by progressives that, and it's almost cognitive dissonance, because while they berate us for what we carry on our persons to protect ourselves, I watch them, like in the case of Brendan Ike, they have no problem dealing out vitriol to force somebody out of a position because of a political belief.
Right.
So here they are lambasting for a potential that, for the most part, never happens. But yet they themselves, as a group, have no problem in using every single tool at their disposal to effectively destroy somebody's life. And yet this guy is saying, you guys with NRA stickers on your cars, I'm so courageous. I refuse to put one on my car because my wife would browbeat me for putting a sticker on my car. So there you go.
Yep.
But, I'm sorry, but there's no consistency. There's also no logic to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, people do die. Half the deaths, however, are by suicides.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Most of these suicides would still be suicides by some other means.
Suicide by some other means. The other thing is let's count up all the gangbangers in Chicago and L.A. MS-13 that are shooting each other over turf wars and drugs.
And you're absolutely right.
And shooting the 9-year-old girls doing their homework as they go by.
Exactly. When do Black Lives Matter exactly? When some thug gets blown away by a white cop, Black Lives Matter, but we don't hear a peep out of him when the 9-year-old's sitting there doing the homework and a gangbanger does a drive-by and shoots her.
So let us be clear. The only Black lives that matter to the hucksters like Al Sharpton are the thugs that get obliterated.
Absolutely.
All right, on that note, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Rick Olson. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This is Croc Talk.
Rock.